Right then, lads and lasses, how we doing, and welcome back to the channel. First of all, lads, look, I just want to say, I'm just quickly switching off my phone to my right. I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, look, obviously, you're not going to enjoy watching this, but we'll have to speak about, we love Newcastle United Football Club, and it's just what we do, I guess. I'm pretty sure, wait, the stream has... Yeah, the stream has started. Bloody hell, I got a bit scared there, actually. Let me know your thoughts on the game, lads, but as a whole, I'm not impressed whatsoever. As you can't be after a 4-1 defeat, you know what I mean? All in all, look, we expected a loss. There's no doubt about that. We expected a loss 110% today against Arsenal. They are high and flying. Absolutely unbelievable, especially at home. We've seen that last season where we basically had to defend for our lives in that game. And we went into that game knowing we were going to get a point. And in today's game, I'm just quickly dashing up the phone, so I can see your chats, ladies and gentlemen. I'll quickly read some out now, then I'll get back on what I was saying. How can you not love Joe Willock? He's absolutely fantastic, wasn't he? Willock will be huge for the rest of the season. He definitely will be, mate. Still have another chance against Wolves. Well, look, it's another chance, but it's another chance wasted, if you know what I mean. Like I said, look, beating Arsenal was, I don't want to say mission impossible because that's showing a lot of respect to them, but it was pretty inevitable. We weren't going to win today, if you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Willock, someone said, sack Eddie Howe. Look, not in my opinion, Jamie, mate. I'm not going to, sort of push down your opinion, but certainly not for me, mate. There's ways to lose, though. That was not a good one. Probably the best way to put it, Aaron, mate. That's said by Aaron Slater. Probably the best way to put it. It was inevitable. We were probably going to lose or get a draw today. I would have loved a draw. I said I would have wanted a draw before ball was even kicked. But to lose in that fashion where the players didn't show enough ambition, enough energy, they just didn't show enough today in a game where you need to step up to be beating Arsenal, a formidable team, coached by a fantastic, as much as I hate him because he just whines and whines, a fantastic manager, a fantastic coach. You need to be stepping up in these games, and we didn't do that today. And there's one, honestly, people have been highlighting Dan Burn, and I have as well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to shy away from that. Dan Burn is probably the majority of why we are getting attacked on the left-hand side, but there was one area where we were absolutely terrible in today, and I've never seen that position as bad in a very long time for Newcastle United. And I'm talking about when I've supported this club as a whole, not just under Eddie Howe. Thank you very much for the £5, Jake. I really do appreciate that, bro. You're putting in my mood a little bit. What I was going to say is, though, there was one main catalyst to why we lost this game today. Yes, of course, Arsenal are a fantastic team, blah, blah, blah. That midfield today, ladies and gentlemen, Longstaff, Bruno, and Miley. Look, Miley actually did show some pretty decent spells, like running out with the wing and that. But that midfield today was absolutely poor. It was shambolic. It was so weak. Everything was getting ran through the midfield. It was genuinely like we were playing without that midfield today. Bruno, in the first half, I don't know what was going on. He was misplacing passes. He was getting shrugged off the ball. Of course, he does have to play a bit wary because he's on 9 yellow cards and he doesn't want to get suspended. But as for Sean Longstaff, look, when I speak badly, I don't want to say badly because I love every single player so much. They are Newcastle United footballers and we love this club until we die. I don't like having to say it after I sort of talk and criticise a player every single time. I love him, but don't take that out of context. We love these players, but Sean Longstaff today, I forgot he was on the pitch. Honest to God, what a poor performance, man. Joe Willock needs to come into this team with a partner in midfield duo of Bruno Guimaraes and Lewis Miley. Willock, of course, on the left. Bruno, of course, on the middle. And Miley, of course, on the right. You let me know if you agree, ladies and gentlemen. And also, one other talking point in this game, which I think Eddie Howe will sort of do. I'll read your comments in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. I'll read them out because, I love sort of connecting with you. But there's one thing I think in this game, what Eddie Howe is going to do, what our percept is wrong. Now, look, I don't want to have to sort of explain this yet again. I'm a 17-year-old kid who loves Newcastle United. I'd like to think I have a fair, decent knowledge, but of course, I am no Eddie Howe. But I think Eddie Howe is inevitably going to do something which is going to hurt us in the long run. For Blackburn, look, it's a cup game. It's a championship team. That's a whole different ball game in the FA Cup. Do what you want, Eddie Howe. We should be beating a championship team, no matter who we field out. But against Wolverhampton Wanderers at St James's Park, which is our next Premier League game, that is going to be a much tougher game than we anticipate. Of course, we drew 1-1 with them this season, did we? What was the score this season? I'm sure we played in with green kit. Hwang Hee-chan scored. It wasn't 1-1, was it? Honestly, I can't even remember the score this season. We might got beat 2-1, actually. But last season, of course, at St James with Wolverhampton Wanderers, we got beat 2-1. And what I think is going to happen in this game, because Wolves are fantastic, Dan Burn has started the last 5 games. excluding today, of course, and we haven't got beaten any of those 5 games. Now, in Eddie Howe's mind, he's thinking, right, okay, I've put Tino into the Arsenal game today, and we've lost. So Dan Burn's come on, he's got the assist. That means I must start Dan Burn. You cannot do that. I mean, look at who Wolves has got. And it's inevitable to happen, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to happen. And I think Lewis Miley's going to get dropped for Longstaff. It's just going to happen. Look, people are saying, everyone in the chat is saying, 2-2, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's a fair few people saying, and I'm looking here saying, Eddie Howe needs excuses. Eddie Howe out. Like, genuinely, I'm not even sort of... If you can't see the chat, looking at the chat now, there's plenty of people saying Eddie Howe out, which I'm just going to say I don't agree with. But Eddie Howe, in my opinion, he's not on the verge of losing his job whatsoever. We're on poor form, undoubtedly. We're on very poor form, and we should definitely be beating the teams like Luton and Bournemouth, who did play great against us, but it's St James's Park. We should be beating them, and we shouldn't have put out a performance like we did today. But his sort of job, it's not in danger for me. But he's got to be ruthless. Tino Livramento has to start against Wolverhampton Wanderers. We are talking about, if Dan Burn started, he would come against the likes of Mateus Cunha, Pedro Neto, Hwang Hee-chan, like we know at the Molineux this season, I forget what the sort of stadium was called there. He's already ripped Dan Burn. I don't want to say the word I like, but he's already sort of ripped Dan Burn this season. We don't want that to happen yet again. Tino has to start in that game. And in Eddie Howe's mindset, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, who would your midfield... Actually, I'm intrigued to see, ladies and gentlemen, if you can type in the chat, put in, who would your midfield trio be? Not for Blackburn, we'll exclude that because it's an FA Cup game. It's a whole different ball game in the Premier League. For Wolverhampton Wanderers, would it be Bruno? He's a granted, undoubtedly. Lewis Smiley on the right, or Sean Longstaff on the left, or Joe Willock in that midfield. And who would you replace Joe Willock with? Would Lewis Smiley come out of the team, or would Sean Longstaff? For me, it's got to be Sean Longstaff. He's just been anonymous for games and games on end. Honestly, I'm not even saying it when I've been watching matches and I forgot he's been there. I'm not being harsh. I've been watching matches and he's not even been there. Right, I'll take a look at some of your comments now, ladies and gentlemen. You have said, your midfield trio, I'm saying Willock, Bruno, Miley in the midfield. Willock, Bruno, Miley from Tyler. Same with Aaron. Livramento had an absolute stinger today. It is fair to say Tino didn't have the best game whatsoever today, but to be fair, he is coming against one of the best right wingers in world football in Bukayo Saka. Unbelievable player, but it's got to be Tino game because Dan Burn hasn't been putting in good performances and he's been getting start after start after start. If Tino gets dropped after one bad performance against one of the best right wingers in the world, honestly, that is incredibly harsh by Eddie Howe. Seriously, it is unbelievably harsh by Eddie. Right, Bruno, Willock, Miley. Willock, Bruno, Joelinton, I doubt is going to be fit for that game, mate. Willock, Bruno, and Longstaff. Willock, Bruno, Tino. Willock, right, so the majority of people in the chat, I can see is going for Willock, Bruno, and Miley, which yet again for me is an absolute given. But for the starting 11, I would give, ladies and gentlemen, in that game is Martin Dubravka, who, by the way, did miss this game due to an illness. I don't know what your thoughts on Loris Karius' performance was this game. For me, look, he's a third-choice goalkeeper for a reason. But some of the saves he was pulling off, lads, I mean, it definitely could have been more. I'm not saying he's had an outstanding performance or whatsoever. Let's be real, it wasn't the best performance whatsoever. Probably could have done a bit better for the third one. I mean, he kind of did just stand out. But look, for a third-choice goalkeeper, he done absolutely fantastic. Given the situation that he was in, look, conceding 4 goals isn't great. But given the sort of situation that he is in. Left-back, undoubtedly Tino. Left centre-back, Sven Botman. What on earth went on with Sven Botman today, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, his passing was off. It doesn't look like the same Sven Botman, and there is a main catalyst to why that is, which I'll get on to after I've named the starting 11. Right centre-back, got to be Shaw. Right back, Kieran Trippier, undoubtedly. Left centre-back, it's got to be Joe Willock for me. We're seeing in literally less than 10 minutes today. He got his goal. He was running on from that left-hand side, and he was getting back as well. We need that defensive cover massively. Centre of midfield, though, Bruno. Right centre of midfield, Lewis Miley. He's been putting in better performances than Longstaff. It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter if he was 17. Doesn't matter if he was 7. If he's playing better than one player, on paper, you start the player who's been playing better. It's as simple as. Left wing, though, Anthony Gordon. Striker, Alexander Isak, if somehow he doesn't pick up an injury out with thin air. In right wing, do you know what it is? Against Wolves, I don't know actually, I might go right wing Gordon and left wing Harvey Barnes. I think Harvey Barnes has got to start in that team, but Gordon's also got to start in that team, and that's sort of, it's a tough one because Gordon isn't the greatest on the right. Harvey Barnes isn't the greatest on the right. I don't know what you think about the wing situation, lads. Who would be your wingers? I would love to fit both of them in. I wouldn't try and get Miggy in if I could. If we could bring Miggy off the bench, that is the biggest plus because, in my opinion, he doesn't have the quality to be starting when you've got Gordon and Harvey Barnes as wingers. But bringing Miggy on, that's absolutely fantastic. Logan Hope, Josh Mate, I'm about to cry. Logan, thank you very much for being a member. You can actually be a member of the channel just down below, lads, where it says join. Thank you very much for being a member. And I spam the stickers in them. But what I was going to say is about Sven Botman. We've talked about the starting 11, which I would pick for Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. But Sven Botman today, that isn't the Rolls Royce that we know. And yet again, there is one main catalyst for that. And it certainly is the catalyst for that for me. His paces went down. His strength, look, he's still a big lad. He can definitely chuck about his waist. I'm no kid to talk him about 9 stone. But if we're looking at why he sort of decreased in the past couple of games, it's got to be that knee injury, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we know that he picked up that knee injury and he was set to come back. And then he's been sort of pushed back from injury, then he's set to come back again, and he's been out for a further extended amount of time, and I think that's what's going on with Sven Botman now. He's not sort of playing, he's 100% capability, if you know what I mean. He's sort of going into every game wary, cautious. He's not wanting to sort of risk his injury, if you get what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. I know that might be a bit hard to grasp, but he's going into every single game sort of scared that he might injure himself for even longer. And what I think will happen personally, that at the end of the season or just before the end of the season, he's going to have to get sort of surgery on that knee because it genuinely is just like a ticking time bomb, that knee. Trippier was absolutely brilliant today. I can agree, Trippier did have a very good game today. It wasn't just Sven. No, don't worry. I know it was the defence today was bad. Don't worry about that, Tyler, mate. I do know that it wasn't just Sven, but Sven did have a very poor performance today. I'm not just picking out on him, of course. That would be very, very harsh for me. I think Shaw should have blocked the goal, but I only seen the replay once. Look, it was just, all in all, a terrible performance, wasn't it, lads? It genuinely was a terrible performance. If you can type in the chat, out of 10, what would you rate that performance today? Honestly, overall, I'm going to have to say a 3 out of 10. And that only gets boosted by Joe Willock as well. Honestly, it would be absolutely rock bottom if it wasn't for that Joe Willock goal. I definitely do feel a lot better that Joe Willock has kind of come in back from injury. He's a new face. He's scored. He's brought that sort of hope that we needed in that positive energy, 110%. If we got beat 4-0, Christ almighty, honestly, that would have been the end of the road for me. But looking on the lineup as it is right now, if that was the exact lineup to go in against Wolves, I wouldn't really be complaining whatsoever. Of course, I would rather Willock in than Longstaff. Karius, yet again, hasn't had the bad performance whatsoever, but there were so many reasons to why we lost. I mean, look, all in all, ladies and gentlemen, 4-1 to Arsenal. We expected it. We didn't expect to get beat 4-1. We didn't expect to concede 4 goals. But it was just, we also didn't expect to get beat in the fashion that we did. It was more so on the players' part. And what I sort of, at the start of the game, applauded Eddie Howe for. I don't know if you can agree with me, ladies and gentlemen. What I applauded Eddie Howe for before the game, before a ball was kicked, because we literally got battered from minute 1. And that's no exaggeration either, by the way, if you watch the game. What I liked what Eddie Howe done, last season, of course, we went into that game at the Emirates when we drew 0-0. Absolute, pause it or turn it down for a second if you don't want to hear some swearing. I'll give you a second. Shithouse football last season when we drew 0-0 at the Emirates. We just went all-out defence. Every single player behind the ball. When you get it, smack it up the pitch. Get into every single player. 10 yellow cards. We didn't do that today. We actually went to a 4-back and we tried to take the game to Arsenal, which before the game, I was thinking, right, okay, this is something different. We are no mugs. We're going in this game with Isak back. Tino started. Come on, we can do something, yeah. But as soon as Arsenal got in their rhythm, it looked exactly the wrong thing to do. And as soon as it was that, I don't know why Eddie Howe, in game which I've seen a fair few people, and ladies and gentlemen, I mean a lot of people say that Eddie Howe's in-game management is very, very poor with his substitutions and, of course, changing how the team is playing. And I can definitely partially agree with that. I can definitely agree with that, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes when it's going wrong, he doesn't like the change. He's a bit, with all due respect, arrogant. Is arrogant the word? He's a bit cautious to change things. Like, he doesn't want to. Like, for example, if Dan Burns having a bad game, you'd say, get Tino on it. For example, the past couple of times at St James's Park, we've heard Tino Livramento being chanted by the crowd, and Eddie Howe just says, well, no, I'm not going to do it. I want Dan Burn to have a good game. And then Dan Burn goes and costs us again. And then he brings Tino on when we're losing. And it's pretty harsh to bring a 21-year-old to change the game when it's Dan Burn who's the experienced one who is coming off when you should be nurturing the 21-year-old, if you know what I mean. But what I was saying is, Eddie Howe, after Arsenal were absolutely battering us, he didn't change the game plan whatsoever. He didn't change the game, simple as, which is what I thought we should have. We went into that game to compete with Arsenal. We competed with them, and they absolutely tore us apart from the midfield. The attack was nullified by their defence, who were absolutely superb. Inward defence was absolutely shocking. When we were getting my ring light's going to go off in a second. When we were getting absolutely battered, I thought we were going to go down to a 5-back with, of course, I don't know, Longstaff coming off or Dan Burn coming on, if you know what I mean. I just think that we probably should have held out for the point today. There was no way in hell if we actually did take the game to Arsenal, we would have got something from them. They are by far the better team at the Arsenal Stadium. They wanted revenge on us, and them things do sort of come into sort of context, if you want to say. It was always going to be an Arsenal win today, but it just wasn't great. It was in the fashion. It came out as, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I don't want to blab on for too long. If we did win today, the live would be on for a lot longer, and I do mean a lot longer, as you know, ladies and gentlemen. But I do want to ask you something, and before I go, I will read you your comments, don't worry about that. I just want to quickly ask you something. After a game, would you rather me post a video, and of course I have to sort of record the video, chop it down, edit it, and then publish it, or would you rather me go live with a match reaction after the video? Just let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'm not going to blabber on for too long, because of course when we lose, people sort of lose interest, and I don't want you to lose that interest in me. I'm just here to bring the happy vibes. So if you did enjoy the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, I will read this. Don't worry, I still will read your comments. Don't worry, I'm not going to go anywhere. If you did enjoy it though, of course, you will still be watching. Hit the like button and subscribe if you are new around here for all Newcastle United content. But I'm not going to go on about it too long, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, it's the performance that sort of ruined us today. So I'll read some of your comments now, and you are all saying go live. Right, I'll go live because of course the sort of results are time sensitive. I don't want to be putting out a match reaction an hour later, rather, when I can do a live and speak to you properly straight away, if you know what I mean. So don't worry about that, ladies and gents. A match reaction will certainly be coming live after every single game. Right. Tyler said, Eddie Howe shouldn't be sacked, man. Just needs to change his subs. And actually, ladies and gents, there's a new streaming platform. I know you won't use this, but this is going to be pretty impactful on the YouTube channel in days to come. I'm going to buy a new microphone for a lot of money. I'm investing on a new camera. That's the last sort of thing, so I don't think it's that bad, if you know what I mean. I did just pay like 100 quid for it a couple of weeks ago, but I'm buying a very expensive microphone, which will be better for the YouTube channel, so keep them likes coming in. Seriously, I need them. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to buy... I was thinking I was going to say that. I'm going to buy this membership on a sort of streaming platform so I can get your comments directly on the live. So they'll pop up literally like here, around this section here, so you can see your comment on there, and of course I can read it directly. Now what you've been saying is, how is the new joke in here? Look, I wasn't sort of alive to say the joke in here. Was I alive? I don't know if I was, but I can't exactly remember it, but I think that is a bit harsh. Botman is overrated in my opinion, says Joe Philly. Thank you very much for saying you love my comment. I don't think Botman's overrated. I just think he's going through a tough spell at the minute, mate, with, of course, that knee injury. It's just kind of, it's on his body, but it's on his mind. He doesn't want to go into everything. He doesn't want to risk being injured and being a big miss for Newcastle United, if you know what I mean. Josh, who was your Newcastle United man of the match? Pretty hard to pick one from today. I don't want to be rude, but it was a pretty hard one to pick from today. If I had to pick one though, look, Miley was half decent today. The midfield was terrible, but he was okay running on the wings. Joe Willock, he was on the pitch for a matter of minutes, but it's probably got to be Joe Willock for me. Even though Kieran Trippier didn't have the worst performance whatsoever today. Do you ever save money? No, honestly, every single bit of money I make from this YouTube channel, I put it straight out with content to make the best for you. So that's no exaggeration either. That's genuinely what I do as well. Would you trust Hull with 300 million? Certainly I would. I genuinely would, yes. I think Longstaff was very soft today. He's usually very spiteful, but he looked like he didn't even care. I can't agree with you. Longstaff looked anonymous today. He's looked like that for a fair few times the past couple of days, ladies and gentlemen. That's just genuinely how Longstaff has been playing. Yet again, if there's one man to be dropped in that midfield, it's got to be Longstaff or Joe Willock for me. Joe Willock, after that performance in itself, although we knew the capability of Joe Willock, the defensive and offensive attributes that he brings, he's just got to be in the team. Simple as, like, genuinely simple as. Is this season a write-off? I think this season, a write-off is a bit harsh, but I'm going to make a video on this, right, of course, when the season does end. This season is going to epitomise the saying of what could have been, what should have been, what if Tonali didn't get banned, what if we didn't if Trippier didn't let the ball go in the last minute at Chelsea away, we would have still been in the Carabao Cup, we could have had a trip to Wembley. What if we didn't get robbed in Paris, we could have still been in the Champions League. What if we didn't get all these injuries? Look, I don't like to sort of bitch and mourn on, but what a season this could have been for Newcastle. It just genuinely is unlucky, and people will just go, no, it just genuinely is unlucky. You can't describe how we sign a player for £50 million and he gets banned for 9 months. You can't describe how we've nearly had 20 plus different injuries. You can't describe how we got unwrongfully sort of robbed in Paris. You can't describe how Kieran Trippier gave the ball away in the last minute. It's all in the past. Get it all away and done with. This season, it pans out to be what it pans out to be. All I hope is we're injury-free next season. Tonali doesn't get banned. You know how much I love him. And we go for Champions League football next season. That seriously is the aim I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Josh, mate. Was watching that like... What was... Hello, Josh, mate. That was like watching OK Newcastle. What one? Josh, do you think Carrier starts over Snake Dubravka? Someone says, how's he a snake? That he's obviously referring to as he joined Manchester United. I still would start Dubravka. Look, people have been saying he's had a bit of ropey spells against Nottingham Forest. I don't think he should have come out for the ball, but it's not exactly Dubravka's style of play to come out and be a sweeper like Nick Pope is, for example. I mean, Carrius actually played as an alright sweeper today. I don't know about you, but for me personally, he was a pretty decent sweeper today. But there is one sort of negative, and I think Dubravka is just a better goalkeeper overall, ladies and gentlemen. I know he has been playing a bit ropey, so to speak, but look, against Bournemouth, he did slip up. That happens. He slipped. It's not a sort of technical error, if you know what I mean. It's not because of his ability. He just slipped on a pitch. That happens. And he made fantastic saves in that Bournemouth game, by the way. He actually kept us in a draw of that game. I don't even think we should have drawn that game. 3-4-3, Shaw, Botman and Lascelles. You know what? I wouldn't be against it. Tino and Trippier against wing backs. Josh, you was spitting facts, to be fair. Thank you very much, mate. This makes us underdogs for next season, though. I think next season will be very, very special. Honestly, next season, I think we will get Champions League. Tonali's back. We'll have more money to invest. Alexander Isak hopefully stays. Bruno Guimaraes hopefully stays. Sven Botman gets his knee sorted out. We'll be high and fly next season, you know. I mean, look at what happened at the start of the season. Aston Villa. Oh my God, take me back to that game and just carry on the season. Restart the season from that game. Tonali, I'm not going on about it, ladies and gents. I'll start crying. Seriously, I will. Karius was very good today. Karius, he was okay. I've said it before. I do think Miley should be given a bit more time on the bench for Willock and give Sean a few more chances. I just think Miley is still too young for this level. Just my opinion, though. Dylan, I can yet again, I use this word a lot, but I can sort of partially agree with you. Longstaff has been definitely putting in worse performances than Lewis Miley. If they were both 25 years old, Miley would be starting 110%. No one on earth can rightfully disagree with that. Look, we can talk about facts and we can talk about facts. Lewis Miley's been performing 10 times the player that Sean Longstaff has. But I do agree with what you're saying, mate. Miley, he is still 17 years old. Maybe against Blackburn, that's where you do start Miley over Sean Longstaff. And then against Wolves, that's maybe where you put Longstaff in because of Miley's age. Look, he's still a young kid. You don't want to absolutely pelter him with performances. Look at Pedri last season. He played what? Like, was it... I'm sure he broke the record for playing so many games or something like that. I'll just read some more of your comments, lads. Well said, Josh. Thank you very much, Brian. What's up, Josh, mate? How are we this evening? I was okay, Connor, mate, but the results been a bit sort of bad, so, you know. I don't believe Howe can pick a strong side. Look, Eddie Howe's team selections recently and his in-game management is starting to become a bit annoying, actually. The substitutions he's making, sometimes I don't agree with. Like I said before, when Dan Burn's playing against Luton, Dan Burn, what did he do again? Dan Burn, I forgot what he'd done for the first goal, but he cost with the first goal and the crowd was chanting for Tino to come on. And then I think it was a couple of minutes later, Dan Burn gives away a penalty and the crowd's yet again chanting for Tino to come on. But after that, Eddie Howe then puts Tino Livramento on, which, why would you put a 21-year-old kid on for the nearly 30-year-old? You should be nurturing the 21-year-old rather than the 30-year-old who's experienced. He's got all this experience. He should be sort of... I don't know. I just don't agree with putting Tino Livramento on when Dan Burn has been misperforming, if you know what I mean. It should be Dan Burn coming on to sort of repay Tino Livramento's bad performances, but he hasn't been performing bad whatsoever. Actually, do you know what it is, ladies and gents? I'll do... Dad? Wow, ladies, get in the chat. Should I get my dad's thoughts on the game? I've just heard him coming into the house now. Should I get my dad's thoughts on that performance? He went out to watch it. He didn't stay in the house. Longstaff plays like a 50-year-old, a bit harsh, but I can kind of agree with that, to be fair. I mean, that is actually pretty harsh, but not been performing the best whatsoever, has he? Miggy was so ineffective today, considering we weren't the dominant side and his average position was just behind the halfway line. There was one thing I didn't like about Miggy today, that chance he had in on goal. He literally passed it to the goalkeeper. What on earth is he doing there? Yes, get his thoughts. My dad is a bit deaf, to be fair, so if I'm shouting at him, he won't actually come, you know. Dad! Right, right. Give us 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. He's honestly, he's deaf sometimes, you know. Give us 2 seconds, lads. Right, lads, here's me dad. Dad, come here. Talk in the microphone. What's your thoughts on that performance today? Yeah, come closer. Actually, I'll let you sit on a seat.
Hey. Very, very poor. That first half was very poor. Everybody screaming for Tino. I don't think you have much of a case after that. And we got the goal through Dan Burn.
No, how?
And a clearance from Dan Burn off the line.
No.
So there you go.
No.
All yous cheering for Tino.
I still will be cheering for Tino.
Who is an undoubtedly good player. Didn't do it today. Didn't do it.
No, but however, dies against one of the best right wings in the world.
I'm not interested, son. He's about the same age.
Do you think Dan Burn would have done any better against Saka, though? Dan Burn would have got absolutely rinsed.
He did at St James's Park. He put Saka in his pocket, like he did Mbappe. You've got 2 great players there that Dan Burn absolutely stitched up. Nah, you've got to tell it as it is, and that's what I see.
So you think against Wolves, right? Who would you start, Tino or Dan Burn? And bearing in mind, Wolves have got players like Matheus Cunha. You've been speaking about him. You know how good he is.
He's a good player.
Wait, I'm just thinking. I think these can hear me. Matheus Cunha, he's genuinely so explosive. Right? He's got pace and he shoots from anywhere and he scores. Pedro Neto, pace he has. Hwang Yi-chan, pace he has. He's already turned Dan Burn inside out with the Molineux. So who would you start? Bearing in mind, actually, we've got Blackburn on next Tuesday, before that game.
Well, I've got to say it, on tonight's performance, I'd stick with Burn. Definitely.
Do you know how it is? It's so annoying, right? Because you can agree, can't you? Tino is the better left back on paper. Like, if we're not speaking about performances, on paper, he is the better left back, isn't he?
I would agree. Yeah.
But do you know what it is, right? The last 5 games we've played with Dan Burn, and we haven't lost a game, and then we'll play with Tino and we'll lose. But it's so annoying because you can see that Tino is the better left back, but I think in Eddie Howe's mind he's just going to think, well, we've started with Tino and we've lost, but we played 5 games with Burn and we didn't lose. Burn comes on and he gets an assist. So in Eddie Howe's mind, he's going to start Burn, and he is, which personally I don't agree with whatsoever.
That's the fact.
If we were playing against someone like Manchester City where they've got Erling Haaland, right, I would play Dan Burn. But when you've got Wolves who's got Cunha, Pedro Neto and Hwang Yi-chan, who all 3 are pacey, right, who's good against pace, Tino Livramento, all 3 are small, who's ineffective against small players, Dan Burn, because he can get he can get turned inside and out, and Dan Burn's only effective against tall players, for example. That's his main part, obviously, because he is so tall, is his aerial sort of duels. Tino's got to start in that game for so many reasons, not just because he's the better player, but I believe it would be so harsh from Eddie Howe just because Dan Burn's been given 5 starts in a row, and that, of course, he's been given more, but I'm just talking about the last 5 games where we haven't lost. The one before that was Manchester City, right? And Tino's been given 1 chance in this team, and we've lost it. He can't be so harsh on Tino after 1 loss, after Dan Burn's been put in terrible performances. He cost a goal against Bournemouth, got skinned. Cost 2 goals against Luton. He gave away the penalty and got skinned yet again. It's happened so many times this season. I've seen someone actually put on a Twitter video. I showed you the video. We conceded from Dan Burn, and look, I hate saying this every time. I hate having to say I love the player because people take it out of context. I love Dan Burn, but someone made a video compilation of Dan Burn getting skinned inside out, and they scored from that exact position over 10 times. It's harsh, right? But it's simple as. Tino's got to start. Simple as.
Well, Tino got skinned tonight for one of the goals.
It's the best right winger in the world, though. I mean, look, Dan Burns coming.
Nah, he's not the best right winger in the world.
No, sorry, one of the best in the world. But Dan Burns getting skinned against Semenyo from Bournemouth, who isn't the best player whatsoever. He's got pace, he's got a good finish on him. But Semenyo versus Saka, however, they're levels apart, man. They actually are.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And I wanted to ask you a question as well, Dar. What's your thoughts on the midfield and all? Because I think
it's just non-existent.
No, it's genuinely like we're playing 8 against 11, isn't it? It actually is like that midfield isn't there. One pass, bang, straight through the defence.
Something's not right. Something's not right there. I mean, Longstaff I thought was non-existent tonight. Bruno was right off the ball.
Actually, I've been asking these a question, right? If there was one midfielder, I think I know exactly what you're going to say. A drop for Willock, because Willock has to come into this team just off that alone, even though he would have been already. Who would you drop?
Longstaff.
Aye, just off performances.
Yeah, I've got to say Longstaff.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
But
there wasn't anything there at all.
No, there wasn't. No.
There was no defensive from him. There was no attacking from him. Just nothing.
I didn't get it with Longstaff. Me, it's like the only this sounds very specific, lads, but the only thing he does on the pitch is protect his position, and I mean like where he is. He doesn't provide defense to the defense. He doesn't provide like sort of effectiveness to the attack. He's there to pass the ball, and that's it.
Great, yeah.
I mean, his performances last season, they were unbelievable, but what on earth has went on this season?
It looks like he's going to go the way of his brother.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Oh, no, I hope not.
Unfortunately.
Do you know, he was released. Mighty Longstaff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Isak as well, you know, nice service he had again.
Running around chasing everything and just nothing.
Did you see that chance from Miggy as well? Just tapped it at the keeper.
You could have just lobbed him, but no.
Christ almighty, man.
Just wasn't our night, son.
Right, I'm going to ask you one more thing, Dad, before I speak to these and wrap it up, right? What would you, for Wolves away, because Blackburn, we can speak about that different time. It's a cup game, of course. I'll do a match preview for that very soon as well, probably Monday, because that's when we'll get the team news. But it's a tough one for Wolves, you know, because who do we start on the wings? Right, straight off the bat, don't think about anything else. Who would be your left and right winger?
Against Wolves, I think I'd go for Murphy and Barnes.
So you wouldn't start Gordon?
Well, if Isaac's fit, yes, I would start Gordon instead of Murphy.
Yeah.
But if Isaac's not fit,
yeah,
definitely, yeah, Gordon and Barnes.
Because say if Isak's fit, right, which, I mean, saying if Isak's fit, bloody hell. You've got Gordon on the left, who is the best player, right? Best performing player at the minute, 100%. Then you've got Harvey Barnes, who you can say is absolute quality, but he can't play on the right. Gordon can play on the right, but he's not effective as what he is on the left whatsoever. So it is a hard one, you know. And then Miggy again. Miggy is always played on the right, but in my opinion, he's so much more effective on the left. We haven't got a right winger apart from Jacob Murphy. Did he even get on the day?
Yeah, he came. Yeah, he came.
Oh my god, yeah. I fell half asleep after that game.
Well, there you go.
Thank God I didn't go on live. Here you are, right there.
Okay, son.
Dad, do us a favour, will you? Can I have a cup of tea? Aye, cheers. Right, just before we end this live, ladies and gentlemen, I'll say what you're saying. No, I didn't want any food. I didn't think that would ever happen on a YouTube live, you know. I mean, fair enough, a TikTok one, but what did you think of me dad's little cameo there, ladies and gentlemen? What did you think of that? Right, Tino got done before I think I need to refresh the live to see what he's saying, lads. 1 second, just 1 sec. Right, there we go. Josh, you were one tall person, you know that. All right. Father Josh is a man of wisdom, mate. You'll appreciate that, you know. I'll tell him that. Anyways, I don't think there was anything to properly speak about that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait 1 second. Right, I thought I just seen something on Twitter. Unbelievable there. Anyways, thank you very much for the £2, Maisie. Just in time before I nearly ended it there. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap that up there. Little cameo from my dad. It's fair to say he enjoyed that. So, not the greatest performance whatsoever, but if you did enjoy the live, of course, like the live. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be doing much more of these live match reactions if you did enjoy them after the game. You can become a member of the channel down below. As many more have, and honestly, I couldn't be more appreciative. Thank you so much to everyone who has become a member. You get exclusive gifts, pictures, you get put in a Discord and all this sort of stuff. I mean, I forgot everything, but you do get a lot of stuff. Jake will happily tell you what you get on the channel. Josh Cunha's injured. Oh, wow, really? Oh, That's a plus. But anyways, I am going to go, ladies and gentlemen. So go and enjoy your night. I know it wasn't the best performance whatsoever, but don't let it anger you too much. I'm going to go play Minecraft to take my mind off it. Anyways, thank you very much. I really appreciate you tuning in live. But stay tuned for more Newcastle United content. And actually, for the 35 people watching this, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say this, right? For the 35 people watching, just listen to what I'm about to say. I'm not even joking. Tomorrow, right, is going to be one of... I don't know if I'm going to put it on YouTube or TikTok, but the content I'm putting out tomorrow will be... And I haven't said anything about this, and I've known it for a very long time, but the content I'm putting out tomorrow will... The topic of it is one of the proudest things I've ever done in my life. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not dropping absolutely anything at all. See you soon. Go and enjoy your day. Love you all. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, turn that notification bell on so you can be here first, basically, for every single video and every single live. Turn that bell on if you haven't already. Thank you very much.